Welcome. We're going to look at some absolute value equations. And what that means is that you have either a number, a letter, and usually an expression inside absolute value bars. Okay, so we're going to solve this. We want to know what x is, but absolute value equations have a very specific rule, and that's that you have to split it into two parts. You have a case A and you have a case B. In case A, the left side, in fact, the whole equation stays the same. You just don't use the absolute value bars. In case B, the left side becomes the opposite, or you use the opposite of it, make it negative. You could also simply say negative A equals B, but that would be the same thing. It would be like multiplying both sides by -1. So this is an acceptable way to do it too, but I'm going to do it where the right side, I think I said left before, I'm sorry, where the right side becomes negative. All right. And it wouldn't matter because it's an equal sign. You can go back and forth. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to do a case A, where it's simply the x plus 15 equals 12. And then I'm going to do the case B, where it's x plus 15 equals -12. So notice that's the difference here. I'm putting in that negative. So I'm going to subtract 15 here. So I get x equals -3. And when I subtract 15 here, because they're both negatives, it gives a different answer of -27. Now we'll check that by doing -3 plus 15 equals 12. Absolute value of 12 equals 12. 12 equals 12, correct. When we do absolute value of -27 plus 15 equals 12, we get the absolute value of -12 equals 12, but the absolute value of -12 is 12. So then that's also correct. Okay. All right, so what that means is that there's a specific place on the number line where -3 is this distance, or -3 is this distance away from it, and -27 is away from it. So those are the two x's, and it's right in between where the center is for it. Something along those lines. There's a graphical way to show it too. Now, that's the basics of it. That's the yellow. Here is a big, big issue. Clean it up first. Because notice in this one over here, the absolute value is by itself. Value is by itself. Or isolated. Here it's not. We have here a -20 and a ×3. We have to get rid of those first before we do case A and case B. Okay? Must clean it up first. Clean it up first before case A and case B. I'll tell you right now, it is very, 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 very common for people to forget this. And so many, 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 many times I've marked these wrong on tests. I sure hope that everybody listening right now will not get it wrong. What we do here is we do like reverse order of operations. Instead of taking care of the multiplying, we'll take care of the adding or subtracting first, which means we'll add 20 to both sides. So I right now have 3 absolute times the absolute value of x plus 2 equals 20 minus 8 is 12. By the way, absolute value bars are not parentheses, so you cannot do distributive property. Do not do distributive property with absolute value bars. So I'm not going to make that 3x plus 6. No, I'm not. Instead, I'm going to divide both sides by 3 because that'll get rid of that. And so I get x plus 2 and absolute value is equal to 4. Now I have something I can work with. Case A is the absolute value of x. Well, it's no longer absolute value. Once you do the cases, you don't get the absolute value anymore. X plus 2 is equal to 4. Case B is I'm going to make it a -4. X plus 2 is -4. Now you see also why the x plus 2 has to be by itself. Because when the absolute value bars go away, if we took the absolute value bars away over here, we'd have like a 3x. We'd do 3 times x, but not plus 2 because we're not putting parentheses. Okay. So now I will very quickly solve these. X equals 2. X equals -6. So my solution set is -6 and 2. That's another way to show the answer for it as well, by the way. Okay. So if I put -6 into here, I get a -4. Absolute value makes it +4. Then I multiply it to 3 and take away 20, and I get -8. So same thing, if I put the 2 in there, I will get that, right? Okay. So you get 2 answers. Notice every one of these, you get 2 answers. Oh, I should have done that back up here. I did not. So my solution set will be the -27 and the -3. And I could have written x equals either in front or inside even. All right. Now let's look at this one. In fact, this is a good one right here for B. If you wish to stop for a moment, stop the video, try to do this one out yourself. I'll give you a few moments, and actually I'll just take about 3 seconds to wait while you stop the video and then restart it when you're done. All right, let's go through these procedures. Just like with A, we're going to first take care of either adding or subtracting here. X plus 3 is equal to 75. Now I'm going to divide both sides by this 5, and I'm going to get 2x plus 3 is equal to 15. And now I can do my case A and case B. So case A is 2x plus 3 equals 15. And case B is 2x plus 3 equals -15. So subtract 3. 15 take away 3 is 12. Divide by 2, and I get a 6. So here, 2x is -18. And then I divide by 2, and I get a -9. So my solution set looks like -9 and 6. So if I were to put -9 in here, I'd get -18 plus 3. That would be a -15. Absolute value of -15 is +15. So I would get 5 times 15. And that would be 75 minus 15 equals 60. And we'd have it right. Same thing if you put 6 in there. All right. Now take a look at the last one on here. And we're going to subtract 50. And we get absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to -40. And stop right there. Can't do it because of that negative. In fact, I want the red to be more like that, so the negative's visible. You can't have an absolute value that results in a negative. So what you're saying is that you would come up with something and it would be positive. Whatever x you put in there, no matter what x you put in there, the result is going to be a positive there. And that means you can't have a -40. It's not possible. Okay. So that means this is a no solution problem. And I'll write out an explanation here because it has to do with the fact that it's a distance from 0. Okay. And absolute value cannot result in a negative since distance cannot be a negative. And that results in being in a no solution. I need to write cannot as one word because it is. Okay. So that's sort of the key understanding of why. And so the only correct answer here is this no solution. So you've now seen the basics, case A and B, and the fact that you have to clean it up first And you get two answers every time, and you can check them to be sure. But also it's possible to have a variation here where it comes out with a negative, and that's not possible. So just for you to see that this type of thing. I hope that helps, and thank you for watching and listening.